Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for joining us on this particular video. Welcome to Bukit Ekima Resource Center. This is where you find Christian literature of all kinds at the best of the best price that you can't find elsewhere. And the materials I told you, they are unique. They're so unique, and you're going to enjoy this video. Stay till the end. I have 10 points today to take you through how to stop reading others for a book title, or rather, how you need to select a book without looking at the author. Now, I discovered that many people read others, especially those that I have known for quite some time. Somebody will come and ask, do you have books on so and so author? Do you have books on this X author? That's not the good kind of discipline of a good reader, though it might look like I'm not really on the side of so and so reading books from this author, but I want to help you in this video to be able to know how to look for books that suits you. Remember, it's only a book is worthy reading if it is able to target your need. Don't buy a book that you cannot read. That's a discipline of a reader. Don't buy a book that you cannot read, and don't read a book that does not suit your need, a book that does not touch to your problem. Now, stay till the end. I have 10 points as a side to take you through how to choose a book without looking at the author. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Get tuned if it's your first time here. Welcome, and let's get into it. So, point number one. Focus on the themes. Focus on the themes or the topics of your interest. That is always the place to start. If you have not been able to know your interests of what you want to read, you might waste your time. And reading is how you get to gain knowledge. You don't waste time when reading. I'm telling you, you have to focus on the themes and the topics that you love. That is very, very important. The stories and the knowledge that you're seeking, that is, search for books and the genre and the settings and the themes and ideas that suit you. That is always, as I said, where to start. So don't go for instance, if you're looking for books on prayer, just search for books on prayer. You walk into a bookstore, or if you're looking online, just look for books on prayer. If it's books on reconciliation, the same. If it's books on restoration, the same. If it's books on redemption, just look at the genre. The first thing that leads you to getting that book. Point number two. Try book blind dates. Try picking a book blindly. That will really help you. Try blind pickups and try blind book dates. You're just going to read a book that you don't know the author. You just like closing your eyes, let me get into it, and it's gonna help you big time. So you do a random book selection. And when you're doing that, if you're walking into our book house or if you're walking into our bookshop, you just do a random book selection. You just know, I want books on love. And if I get books on love, I'm doing a random book selection. I'm just picking those books. And yeah, I've got this amazing title talking about love, but I don't know who is the author. So I just overlook and mark you. That is the discipline number one, to diversifying your knowledge on different genre, different settings, different ideas, different themes, without looking at who is the author. Number three, ignore the cover page and the author name first. Did you hear what I said? Ignore the cover page and the author name first. Many people make a mistake by judging a book by its cover. You've heard that phrase that say, don't judge a book by its cover. It's very true. Sometimes whatever glitters is not gold. And what gold is, as you know, it is purified from a very dark substance that is not very attractive. And that's how the rich content that is out there looks like. Many people have not yet spotted the right kind of content that we're looking for just because we don't know the authors. So ignore the book title, ignore the book page, ignore the book cover page, that's what I mean, and ignore the author name first. When you hold the book, don't look at the author. Get to know these things that I'm taking you right into them to know. So mentally tune your mind that I have not seen who is the author. Physically, as you touch the book, just tune your mind that I have not seen who is the author. But I have the book that is talking on about the topic that I want to hear, the topic that I want to study. But ignore mentally, ignore physically. Who is this that is said to be the author? Ignore it, and you begin checking if that is the book that you really want to see. Though that means you're reading the book without judging its cover. Point number 4. On how to stop reading authors for a book title is read the first page. Now, you have had a random book selection. You don't know the author. You have ignored the cover page and the author name. Next point is read the first page. The first page is always very, very, very important. And I will tell you, sometimes it might be more than the first page because some of the authors are really skilled into the book writing skills. So focus on the writing styles when you get to read the first page, or the first, it can be the first page, or it can be the first paragraph, or it can be even be the first all chapter, the first chapter, if not the first page. Specifically go through the style that the author has used. Get to know the author by the style that he or she has used in the writing. Get to know the author by the tone that he or she has used in the book writing. Get to know the author by the pace he or she has used, the voice that is coming out when you're reading quietly or when you're reading gently. Get to know the author by this judgment. Also, read the whole chapter if you are going for a review of reading a whole chapter. So, if you have looked at the first chapter, ask yourself, does this book really suit me? And if so, continue reading without looking at who is the author, because I told you, as many people do this mistake, we make that wrong judgment to judge a book by its cover just because the author is not famous, or we have not yet known that book or heard of it. It's a big mess, and we miss the rich content that we can get. So get into that, and it will be good for you. Point number 5 on how to read a book without looking at the author is read the book review without looking at the author. A review will help you know if this book is worthy reading, if it addresses my need, or this book is not exactly what I want. And when you're reading the review, you get to find the summary, and the summary puts all together the book says, and it is not biased to the author and everything. So it is very important for you to do that. You just do a quick review, and by reviewing, you check to to go through the summary. You use the forums that people have to discuss plots and characters and themes without emphasizing on the authorship, because the authorship comes later. The authorship comes later. Somebody can have been a very good author in their beginning of the journey, but after being very famous, the information and the skill might have gone blunt, and you have to be able to continue measuring that, or else then you'll be falling into information that might not benefit you or profit you to the best. So it is very, very good for you to do that. Point number 6 on how to read a book without looking at the cover is sample books by new or unknown authors. Make it a plan to every time you have a chance to look about different kind of books, just to look for books written by authors that you don't know. Move from the level of only studying books written by authors that you know, and go to reading books that have been written by authors that you don't know. That is very, very way important, because when you're doing that, it is you get to discover there are more skilled people here, and you even get to turn to be a very unique author because you have been sharpened by the sharpest. So when you're doing that, you choose books with little fame. Looking for books with written by new or unknown authors. Go for books that have no fame at all or that have little fame. Support smaller publishers that really want to talk about books that have been written by young or new authors, and that opens your mind as a reader, and it makes you be able to make the best selection ever that you can make. Point number 7, follow book reviewers who recommend diverse authors. That is the best of the best points that I have for you in this channel. Follow book reviewers who recommend diverse authors, and when you're doing that, you look for reviewers who highlight diverse authors and unusual settings or structures and the story and not the fame. Many of the times we go for the fame and we miss the story. Many of the times we go for the fame and we miss the structure. So what you have to do is follow the reviewers who recommend diverse authors. You get to know who are the best authors still in the market currently. If you're looking for books on love, you get to know books on love. This particular season, my top 5, top 10, top 15, top 20 authors in this particular season. Point number 8 on how to choose a book without looking at the author is avoid bestsellers or author-based list. That is what has messed many people to have a very poor selection habit. Many people have good reading skills but poor selection habits because they have their most preferred authors. So when you want to be a diversified reader who will gain maximally from different diversified writers, you have to avoid bestsellers and author-based lists. That is very important. Now, for instance, instead of saying top 10 books written by X author, you can go for top 10 mind blending books. You can go for books that made readers cry. And that automatically gives you books that have been written by authors, and these authors most probably will be different. But if you go for 10 books written by X author, you have only one author, and you'll be used to only one stylistic device, one setting, maybe one tone, and maybe one way of receiving information, but diversifying your reading into being open-minded to receiving books and selecting books that have been written by others who are not really the same is very good. So avoid bestsellers list and avoid author-based lists that will propel you to being a very, very, very good book chooser. Number 9 on how to read books without looking at the author is create a personal reading challenge. And here is where you get to put the armor on the last bang on the nail, because this helps you to plan your annual reading. It helps you to plan your weekly reading and also plan your monthly reading. For instance, you can say, this year I'm going to read 12 books from new authors. Regardless the topics, regardless the times, I'm going to read 12 new books, whether monthly, whether bi-monthly. At the end of the month, I want to have read 12 books written by different authors. And that opens your mind to not only read one author, but read books from different authors. You can also say one book a month, chosen at the random from the bookshelf. You can decide to say, I will be walking into the bookshop and every month I'll be going to buy a random book that I buy from Bukit Ekima Resource Center Limited. And that is what we have. I said to you some time back that our books are very unique. You get to find so many authors that you might not have heard of, and you get to find so many authors that you may not be aware of, because the books are so unique. So you have to create a personal reading challenge. You can even say that every third book you read will be from an unknown author, and that will help you develop this challenge that I read 2 books that I have known the author. My third book must be from a new author, and so on, and you develop a very reading skill. The last point on reading a book without looking at the author is trust your own reactions. Now, this is where many people lose it after they got a book that would have helped them, but because the author is not known, they drop the book, or after going through the review, the conclusion, the summary, or the recommendations, they dropped down the book because maybe the author is not famous, maybe the author is not known, and that's where many people lose it. So you have to trust your own reactions. Reflect after reading the first page or the first chapter and ask, did I enjoy this book? Or the profits and the merits that are coming with reading these books, have I really got to see the book address my own need? And if so, that's the book for you to read. Ask, would I have picked this book if I knew the author before? And so on and so on. And you have to learn to trust your reactions. You have 10 points on how to stop reading authors and begin reading books that touch your need, overlooking the author, and you get to have knowledge from many people, many authors that benefit you. That was very helpful. Try it and it will work. Subscribe to this channel if you're not yet subscribed. If you are a returning subscriber, keep looking and keep on checking what we have new for you, and you will enjoy it. See you again. Remember, we are always available in all our social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and on this channel That is Bouquet de Kima Resource Center, where faith meets pages. See you in our next video. Enjoy.